Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to NOLA Theatre Talk. My name is Alan Smason, and we broadcast on the NOLA Theatre Folk Facebook group, the theatrecriticism.com Facebook page, and my own YouTube channel. Tonight is a really special night. We are broadcasting, believe it or not, from Boy Scout Camp, Camp Nash, outside of Kansas City. We also have a pre-recorded segment that was done a few days ago with another person who will be brought about in just a second. I'll let you know who that is, but a special segment as well. But first off, let me welcome to the program in this discussion about the revival of Funny Girl on Broadway and the recently concluded national tour of Funny Girl. I'd like to bring in Tovah Feldshuh. She's got the right pronunciation, right, Tovah? And we're so pleased to have you. And again, you were one of the Rose Brices that was featured on Broadway, and I went there to see you, and that was the performance or two or three that you had a problem with your knee, and unfortunately I couldn't see you. And the next time I was trying to go up there, I think you were doing a fundraiser for a group in Florida, and that was the second time I tried. But I know you did a wonderful job.
You came to the show and I wasn't in it. My understudy was in it.
Yeah, but that's okay. Right. That's okay. But you know what? The main thing is I tried, and I also know that this was the first revival of Funny Girl on Broadway. It took 60 some odd years for it to happen again. You know, after I guess you might say the trying to capture lightning in a bottle again. You know, with Barbra Streisand. So you had a lot of big shoes to fill. And they were Feldshuhs, weren't they? So
they were.
But I have to say, you know, it was a wonderful show in many ways, and we have many of the stars of the national tour who are actually waiting in the green room right now. But I wanted to talk to you first off. How was it that you came in? You took over the role that originally was done by Jane Lynch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, the most wonderful.
And were you thinking about getting involved with the show, and they approached you, or was it something you were actively kind of interested in, and you raised your hand and said, "Does anybody?" Because I know we all have had a situation. I'll probably throw up a photo. The original production had Beanie Feldstein in the role of Fanny Brice. And, you know, sometimes critics, unfortunately, I'm one of those, are less than kind, and they're situations that arise, and the producers were not so happy, maybe might be the best way to say it, with what was going on. They thought maybe they could have done better, and there were a whole clamoring group of people on the side from Glee who were friends of Leah Michelle and had seen her do some of the things on TV. They thought, well, that might not be a good idea, you know, to have not had her to begin with. And whatever the point is, the politics aside, they had made some changes, and Julie will talk about some of that. Julie Benko, who stepped into the role, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I wanted to get, you know, from you, you know, of stepping into the situation when the producers said we're going to have a whole new group of people that's going to take over the role for Fanny, for Rose, and you know what that's like to go in under those circumstances. It had to be very challenging to Julie, of course, who'd been the understudy and had to take over for Beanie. But I wonder for you, was it something just you were able to do it without much thought, or was it something that was a bit of a challenge?
Okay, Alan, let's start from the beginning. First of all, I did not seek the job. I got a call from one of my favorite producers, and it was a very quiet call saying, would you be interested in playing Rose Brice? And I said, I don't know. And I said, can I see the script, and can you let me see the show? So I went to see the show with Jane Lynch and with Beanie, both of whom are probably two of the best people I've ever known. They're just wonderful human beings. And the critical reaction to that casting was unfortunate. And what was even more unfortunate is that the producers felt that to make the show a success, that perhaps they had to recast the roles based on physical type. I mean, Leah and I can't see you. Are you there, Alan? Are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Leah and I I feel look like we could be related. She's a size 4, I'm a size 6. She's a little taller than I, but I'm petite. So it was a visual buy that we could be mother and daughter. And that was an advantage to us. Whereas Jane is tall and stately and Beanie is little and cute. So it was a very different visual. Secondly, we were the only 2 replacements. It was all the original company, and they wanted to replace, unfortunately, the funny girl, the leading role, and her sidekick, her mother. Ramin, want to talk about heroics. You got to
Wow.
talk
Yeah.
about Ramin Karimloo, whom I adore and love. We just did a musical together called Rome, a new
Yeah.
musical.
And he's now featured in Pirates, which is
great.
a New Orleans connection with the NOLA Theatre Talk Show. Of course, it's part of it's underwritten by the NOLA, New Orleans and Company. So anytime you can set any kind of a musical or play in New Orleans, I'm really happy.
He has a title role. I mean, he's the Pirate King.
Pirate King.
So I was asked to see the show, which I did. And I said, what can I do with this role? I think Melissa, whom I have not discussed it with, but it's a problematic role. Rose Brice is not a shoo-in. You got to figure her out and figure out how to make her make sense. Streisand was such a sensation that as rehearsals progressed about in the early 60s, they wrote more and more for her, less and less for Sidney Chaplin, and let the dominoes fall where they were. So how do you make Rose Brice, for the first time in the history of the show, the mother she's supposed to be, which is a Jewish mother? She's not an Irish mother. She's not Kay Medford. She's not a Catholic mother. She's a Jewish mother. So they actually cast a person who had a shot at that, since that's my religious background. And Leah Michelle has a monumental talent. She's incredibly gifted, and Julie is incredibly gifted. By the time the show finished its run, and I'm very proud to say that the company, when I joined the company with Leah, we made back the producers all their money, every single penny, and they were not in that shape. But to make a long story short, Julie was magnificent. She must have gone on at least 200 times between Beanie and Leah, because the role is so exigent. Yeah, she was phenomenal. Leah Michelle was great in the role, and we sold. You couldn't get a seat. I mean, we sold very well because she was very well known from Glee, and I've been on Broadway for 50 years, so it worked out very well. It was a very happy experience. I tap danced vigorously with my beloved Jared Grimes, and
Yes.
did my knees hurt? They did, but the show must go on. So you must have come maybe when I got my platelets injected into my knees, which is fine.
But not to worry. You know, it was a great show, and I know I may have missed a little part of it with you in it, but overall, it was a wonderful experience, and I think anybody who saw it, you know, had a great time in the theater. And again, you know, I want to bring in some of the other people here who have been waiting patiently. And I don't know how long you want to stick around because, you know, you have blessed us with your appearance tonight. And I know that they wanted to talk to you, but I'd like to bring them in right now. And then if you wanted to
Just
you know,
know
bow out.
I emailed you, and you have 2 pictures of me as Rosie Brice in your inbox right now.
I'm gonna go do that. Let me bring in everybody else, and then I'll bring those up. First off, your counterpart on the national tour, the Rosie Brice that I got to know for the first time in Sweet Potato Queens when she was visiting New Orleans. Actually visited Slidell first, and then New Orleans. Melissa Manchester. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good to see you. How are you?
Thank you very much,
Melissa.
I'm very well, thank you.
And you had told me the other day that you
Very well. How are you?
You had actually not met Tovah much. You may have seen each other on stage, etc., but you hadn't had a chance to really talk about Rose.
Well, I don't think Melissa Manchester needs much help, so she
Sorry?
came to.
Well,
Can you hear
hey, you got 2 roses here. I wanted to kind of find out whether or not you would, you know.
You're going. Yeah, you're going in and out, Alan.
Okay.
Yeah, the
She's freezing.
thing, and then you're unfreezing. So
Okay. All right. Well, let's just
We'll
see.
do the best we can.
Yeah. I got the best Wi-Fi that I've got right now, the best Wi-Fi I can get. So hopefully we won't freeze anymore. So Melissa, tell me again what it was like, because you had also, just like we were about to bring in Hannah, who's had a little bit of a problem. You had yourself another accident that happened during the beginning of the show, correct? Didn't you have a problem with your leg that you experienced early on with the show?
Yes, I was doing the show, and then on my way to the theater, I tripped and fell and fractured my left kneecap. So I had to be out of the show for a couple of months. I had surgery and then rehabilitation. And the first question that I asked the producer is, may I come back ever? And they said, absolutely. And so I did. I not only had the surgery and the PT, but I ran my lines and my blocking every single day. And while I was home, I was finding new moments in the dialogue, thoughts about how to approach a line, and it was great.
Well, another
And when I
person go ahead.
Came back,
And everybody loved seeing you on the
said,
stage.
"Do you want to run it?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
And they were giving me all kinds of.
Okay, let me see if I can bring your castmate in, because she also suffered a little bit of a tragedy this last week, and that is Hannah Shankman, who was the Fanny Brice of the national tour, recently concluded. She just had another.
Unfortunately, poor Hannah.
Yeah. How's your foot doing,
Hannah
darling?
Shankman.
Oh, it's fine. It's, I'll live. It's
It hasn't
okay.
affected the vocal cords?
No, in fact, I did a vocal warm up from my couch today.
Oh my goodness! And you are as good a belter as I've heard, and you really knocked it out of the park. I mean, it was a fantastic
I
performance.
can't hear you, Alan. I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I think, Melissa, maybe your internet's a little bit down too, but hopefully people can hear me. Tovah, you can hear me okay?
I hear you A+ perfect.
Okay, so it might just be your internet, Melissa, but that's cutting out a little bit too. So
Melissa came to see the play on Broadway, and that's all she needed to do. And then she constructed her own Rosie, which was wonderful. And I went to see the company in Los Angeles because I was very friendly with the Nikki Arnstein in the company, Stephen, and loved Melissa, loved you all. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. The Amundsen, I think it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah, was Melissa a good mother to you on stage?
Oh, she was a good mother on stage and off stage. She's just so supportive, like she just, every night I would get off stage for the end of the show and Melissa was always there to say good show. And it just, like, having that support both on and off stage brings the characters to life. It creates a stronger bond.
Yep.
It makes everyone feel so tightly knit, and you can trust everyone you're on stage with,
Well, I'm going to bring in the final member of our company now, and that would have been Mrs. Strakash normally, but also she was a standby for Melissa on the road as well, and that's Cheryl Stern. Cheryl, a well-known New York actor in her own right, and appreciate you being out there. I was so blessed. The opening night, I got a chance to meet both Cheryl and Melissa again at the stage door of the Sanger Theater. And that is a big theater that you all worked in, 2,600 seats. And again, when you play, a Broadway theater, the biggest theater and stage in New York is 1,935 seats at the Gershwin. So imagine a theater that's got another 700 plus seats. So you know what you're dealing with there, a big crowd. And I think you pretty much sold out the whole run.
Right.
I mean, it was.
We did. We had a
was pretty good.
And you walked us home. Thank you so much.
I was happy to do that.
On the crazy streets of New Orleans.
Yes, and I said I'm going to watch out for you. Tovah, again, I'm going to go get your pictures right now, but I'd like Cheryl to talk a little bit about what your role was as Mrs. Strakash. And again, you used to go on, like I said, a lot of times on Sunday nights for Melissa. So tell us a little bit about how it was you got the role, how long ago it was, and I'll go take care of Tovah's pictures.
I joined the company this past August, and I had seen it on Broadway with the fabulous Tovah Feldshuh, and I'd seen it originally also with Beanie and with Jane Lynch. And Tovah, you blew me away. You were amazing, and I've always loved the show, and I always wanted to be Mrs. Straykosh. I know that sounds insane, but when I was a little girl watching the movie, I knew that was Aunt Bluebell from the Blue Bonnet margarine commercials. And I loved her. And I grew up being just mesmerized by the fact that someday I could maybe be Mrs. Straykosh. So dreams do come true. What can I say?
That's actually what Jane Lynch said.
Really?
She's an award-winning big TV star,
Oh.
and the Brits were casting the show. And Jane Lynch was dying to play Rose Brice, so she campaigned for the part. They gave it to her.
Wow.
Amazing.
Thinking that
Mhm.
it's all about, yeah.
And oddly enough, May Castell, who played Mrs. Straykosh in the movie, was the voice of Betty Boop that is now on Broadway. So there's an odd connection to, yes, she was Betty Boop.
That's a fun little fact. I love that.
Right? Fun facts everywhere. But I was very happy to join this company. And Melissa and I had worked together before, which was amazing to join her and have the honor of standing by for her on Sunday evenings. And the fabulous Hannah Shankman that we bonded with very quickly. So it was an awesome experience. It was a quick one for me. I was only out 8 months, which feels like nothing compared to Stephen Lucas, who did the show for like 3 years straight, incredible.
So I guess I should, since it took us so long to get it, Tovah.
Oh,
Adorable.
fantastic.
There's one of Jared and me kicking. There's another.
I'm going to have to go find it. I found that one. Let me get another
Just
one.
below it. It's just below it. There were three.
I only saw the one, but I will go back and look for it. But again, one of the reasons I wanted to do this show, this is the first time that we had a revival of Funny Girl on Broadway, but it's the third time that they had a national company, but the first time using the Harvey Fierstein script, right? So in a sense, it was also a new road company going out doing the new script, although I'm sure much of it was very close to what had done before. But did any of you look over the original and try to compare what Harvey had done to see? Because I know you said, Cheryl, when we talked, that Mrs. Straykosh was really expanded much more than what was done in the movie.
There's more, yeah.
So
And also Tovah and Melissa, that beautiful final scene that Harvey really carved out in ways.
Yeah, I did a regional production of the show about 6 years ago, I think it was, right before the pandemic. And I did the original script. So coming in and doing the revised script by Harvey, it was actually very apparent to me where the changes were, because it was still so ingrained in my brain space somewhere. I remember like redoing scenes and being like, I do not remember this scene feeling this way at all. And going back to my old script and being like, wow, this has actually really been reformed and reworked and reorganized.
The original script, the original script from '64.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was it like?
The original script from '64.
It was interesting because that was the only one that had the rights. It was interesting. There's a lot of different relationships. I think that's the main thing that Harvey really focused on changing. I think he updated a lot of the scenes and fine-tuned and cut things, but he actually changed a lot of the relationship between Fanny and Eddie, and I also think Fanny and Rose. As well as Fanny and Ziegfeld, strangely enough. Like, I think Ziegfeld was much more ingrained as sort of this like father figure for Fanny in the original production, and he still is in Harvey's version. But I think Rose really fills that parental guidance in the new version, which is nice because she is her, biological mother. And then there was more of this trickle of romance between Eddie and Fanny in the original script that I know Michael and Harvey actively tried to, I don't want to say dissolve, but change into this really true, like, lifelong friendship that had a lot more value long-term to both of them. those were the main differences, I think, were the relationships. There were many script changes as well, scene trimmings and things like that. But the relationships were really solidified in the updated version.
There was no song cut though,
Yeah.
right? Or were there?
From the version I did, I don't believe so.
In the
I
original.
think Who Taught Her was in a different spot, though. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, they moved a couple of scenes
There were
around.
song additions in
And
the new
longer.
one. Yeah, I was going to say, Who Are You Now? In
Right,
Act 2 is
and
actually
find-
a very small
Yeah,
song.
Find Yourself a Man was in the original, and they took that out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
And no big Nick Arnstein
No temporary
temporary
arrangement.
arrangement.
But again,
No,
you
it
know,
was such a vehicle for Streisand. They just kept writing more for her and less for,
Exactly.
and also he couldn't sing. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
Tovah, I'm looking for your other picture, but I wanted to throw a couple from the national tour up. Mama and daughter, here they are. And again, Melissa and Hannah, or as it were, Rose and Fanny Brice. And then again, Hannah, this is you on the couch being.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
With my bestie.
darling.
Beautiful. And then I know Cheryl's got a bunch of pictures as well that I'll throw out a couple of hers. Now tell me a little bit about this. This
Oh, my
is what?
gosh.
This is
This
afterwards?
is Hannah and I meeting a friend of mine, Lori Graff. Her parents did Grease with Hannah's parents.
Oh.
My friend Lori came to see the show, and we
Sandy
introduced Hannah
Graff's
to
child?
Lori. It was like theater history.
Was that Sandy Graff's child?
Yeah.
It's-
It was Lori Graff, and my mom also did the show with Randy Graff as well.
Yeah, it's Randy's
Randy
cousin.
Graff. Yeah,
Lori.
Randy Graff, I knew. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were all in and out.
Randy Graff
Amazing.
played my sister in Sarava.
Oh, my gosh.
see, theater
It's-
Jewish geography.
Yeah,
telling you.
it's like this small.
Yes,
It's
the best-
really
yes,
amazing.
exactly.
When you think about it, everybody in the room tonight's Jewish, and this is a story about a Jewish woman who succeeded in a time when, you know, things were not so easy for people who were of the Jewish faith. So, you know, it's wonderful that we can gather here, especially in some of these troubling times that we all experience, you know, in the last few years, you know, with Pittsburgh and with some of the things going on campuses last year, et cetera. So hopefully things will get better, and we hope that, you know, the climate changes politically, and that people are maybe a little bit more tolerant and accepting. But one of the things that I think is important is that this medium of theater has a way of bringing people together, and we should try to do more theater, more arts. We should not be cutting funding for arts. We should be increasing it, as far as I'm concerned. It's really an important part of development for children and for adults too. So enough politicking.
Bravo.
A little bit more. Let me throw out. Now this is a little bit of the national tour again. And Hannah, we can see you. You're just sort of like in the crowd there. But this is when
yeah.
I think you're coming back for the old neighborhood and doing a little bit of part of the Ziegfeld Follies there. And I guess there you mentioned a really talented actor. And on Broadway, who played
Jared
Joe?
Prime,
He was exceptional. He was nominated, was he not?
totally exceptional. Yes, he
Yeah.
was the one nomination.
Yeah. So again, one of those things that you never can tell when the Tony Awards come out who's going to be nominated, who's not. I was just in New Orleans just a few days ago with Michael Cerveris, and I said, "What did you think of the nominations?" He said, "I didn't get too much because, of course, Tammy Faye closed after 5 days. So you know those things happen." I did too. So I want to go, if it's just a matter right now, it's almost 8:30. I wanted to be able to bring Julie in. Of course, Julie, as we mentioned, took over after Beanie. And I don't know if I think I still have a shot of Beanie somewhere as well. Let's try that one. Is that one there? Yeah. So, you know, and again, as Tovah said, she's an exceptional talent. You know, and just one of those unfortunate situations where luck or timing wasn't maybe the best, you know, and just one of those situations. You can't
Alan.
say, yeah.
Alan.
Yes.
The most important thing for an actor, the first thing, is that we have to be credible. We have to be believable. And when the New York critics saw the two different physical types, they basically said, what the hell do you think you're doing? You think we're going to believe that relationship between these two human bodies? And that's what I think happened. It had almost nothing to do with their talent. It had to
Yeah.
do a lot with the visual. And it was really unfortunate and painful, yucky.
Yes.
I
Yes.
wasn't part of the company, and you stay out of it. As a Jew, to lashon hara, to gossip, is horrendous. It's a real sin. It's a real sin. So it was very, very unfortunate. And of course, the minute I joined the company and Beanie had left, she wrote me a letter. She sent me a gift. She's that kind of a person. Jane Lynch took me to lunch. These are the kind of people that they said, actually, I think they let Beanie go, and then Jane said, if she's going, I'm going. That's how it really was.
And it's sort of unfortunate because with Leah coming in, Jane Lynch, it would have been a reunion for Glee people to have the two of them on stage. But you know what? It worked out much better for you, Tovah, and I'm glad you were there.
Alan,
so
it worked out much better for the audience, dear.
Yes. Let me also go ahead and I know it's about time for me to throw in Julie. Tovah, if you need to leave after this, I understand. But if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome. But I'd love very much for you to. I'd love for you to watch this. We had about it's about a 14-minute long interview. So let me go ahead and see if I can present this for you. And you all watch. Julie was very gracious, and we'll get this on just a second as I make it happen. Here we go.
She's great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the NOLA Theatre Talk Show. My name is Alan Smason, and I'm glad to have you. Again, we have a wonderful guest that is going to be with us. Those of you who've already been listening into the show with Melissa Manchester, Cheryl Stern, and of course, Hannah Shankman. We're talking about the road show, the national tour. This would be actually the third road company that they had, but the first of this new version of Funny Girl. So, Harvey Fierstein had his hand in it. And we were very blessed, very lucky to have one of the original stars from Funny Girl, the revival on Broadway, with us today. And that is, of course, the wonderfully talented, beautiful, and again, I'm very happy to announce Julie Benko is with us as well. And Julie is, of course, we've got a little bit of a couple of friends in common that we know. Julie also starred very famously in the short-lived, albeit it should have been on much longer, of Harmony, the Barry Manilow musical. And we got a couple of little pictures, et cetera, to share with that as well. But actually, at that particular show, I have to say I was very fortunate to be able to stay at the stage door when you came out, and you were very generous, of course, and you said hello among other people there that I got to see, and of course you were fantastic in that show with Sierra Bogus, and again, just you played I think Ruth, right? That was the role that you did.
Yes, Ruth. Yeah.
So, but that much aside. The one reason we're talking to you today is because of Funny Girl, and I have to back up just a little bit. You started like a lot of Jewish performers performing at the JCC and in camps and things like that sort, didn't you? And I think you worked with your dad too. Now, what was the story with your dad? Was he musical, or was he interested in working with kids? Or how did that happen?
No, he was my ride to the audition. That was it. And they came out and they said, I was 14 and it was the JCC in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and they were doing Fiddler, and I wanted to audition for one of the daughters, and I had said, Dad, can you drive me? And then my sister was like, can I come? And she was 4 years younger. And then my mom was like, well, I'm not sitting home while you all go to this thing together. So I was waiting to audition, and the director came out and saw my dad and said, sir, we're desperate for papas. Can you please audition? And he said, I don't do that kind of thing. I do, commercial real estate. And they said, please, you can sing Happy Birthday. So he auditioned, he got casted as Reb Mordechai, the innkeeper. And then they saw my sister, they had her audition. So she was Bielka, I was Huddle, my dad was Reb Mordechai, my mom was a villager selling bagels. And it really, that production really changed the course of all of our lives. And my dad got the bug, and now he's the president and treasurer of his local community theater group in Fairfield, Connecticut. It's called Fairfield Center Stage, and he plays Scrooge every year in the site-specific Christmas Carol. And he's played a whole bunch of roles since then. And my sister now is a playwright and director. And
you see, it all stemmed from you wanting to audition. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, as you know, we always bring a little something in. This is a little Gewürztraminer, which is an Alsatian wine right on the border of France and Germany, and put in to and as I mentioned to you earlier, this is from a Temple Israel Ner Tamid wine glass that I had in your honor. Give it a little bit more Yiddish content. And again, everybody else is listening because we're talking about Funny Girl. So I don't know what you brought in. So you tell me what you brought.
I brought in a grapefruit spindrift. I'm really into these.
You know, sometimes you get very creative with the drinks you bring in. So that's why I say it doesn't have to be alcoholic. Especially don't expect people who are performing to do that. Now, before we get to the Funny Girl, I know that you are going to be performing in another Loverly role, is it not? Coming up in
Yes.
Aspen. So, and I'm hoping to be able to see you. That's going to be is it in July?
In July 15th. It's a one night only event as a co-production between Theater Aspen and the Aspen Music Festival, which is a 60 plus piece student orchestra, but really high level students. And so it's Aspen is so beautiful. And it's going to be sort of, we rehearse for a week here, and then we go out and we rehearse with the orchestra for about a week. And then we just have the one night. And
I'll be going out there to go see you, and I'll be several days ahead of time. So, if you're in the neighborhood or whatever, where I'm going to be, just give me a shout out. I'll be there.
all
So
right.
Back again. That's fantastic. You must be doing Eliza, so that's great. Eliza Doolittle, and
No, I'm playing Higgins. Yes,
and that's got to be a dream role for you, right? I mean,
It
that's
is.
gotta be,
Honestly, yeah. For 20 years, people have said, "What's your dream role?" And I've always said Eliza Doolittle. I never even mentioned Fanny Brice. It never occurred to me. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. This is a dream come true.
and I'm really happy for you. So tell me a little bit. Where did you first find out about the possibility? Was it an audition or for doing a Funny Girl?
They were having auditions for the standby for Funny Girl on Broadway. I heard that they were seeing people. I wrote to my agent. I said, "Can I get an audition?" And they said, "Sorry, they said you're not right for it." And I couldn't get in to any audition. They went through rounds and rounds of seeing people, and then finally they held, I don't know what round they were on, but they finally hadn't found what they were looking for. And they called me in and they said, "Fine, we'll see Julie." And my agent got me an audition, and it was a self-tape. I mean, I did a self-tape and I sent it in, and then I found out that I had to call back after, a few days.
And this was not long after the pandemic. It might have even still been in the last stages of the pandemic, right?
It was November 2021 was my audition. So, but self-tapes are sort of the norm now. That's how it works, because it's cheaper for the producer,
right.
So I made it self-tape, and then a few weeks later I found out that I had a callback, and then I went in for the callback, and I found out a couple days after that I booked it. But yes, I just had one callback, and I sang half of Greatest Star and People, and that was it.
I don't think it took more than that. That voice was going to get you where you're going. I'm telling you. So, did they hire you specifically to do the Thursday afternoon show at all first, or did that come on later?
That was later. It was also Thursday night. We didn't do Thursday matinees, but it was that was a harmony thing. But I was hired to be the standby. I didn't have any regular schedule. It was just, my only job was to sort of be off stage and be ready to jump on if Beanie called out. And then I had some scheduled performances. So I went on the full weekend immediately after opening. because Beanie had some personal days, and then I ended up going on more and more, for illness coverage and stuff. And then when Beanie left the show a little early, I took over
Right.
full time it was supposed to be 5 weeks, but then Leah got COVID, so then it was longer. And then once Leah started, I did the Thursday night shows every Thursday, and then would step in anytime she was sick or took vacation or anything.
So how many times do you think you went on for Beanie, or do you remember?
Well, I went on, I think I counted it. My family was keeping account. It was like 180 something times that I went on total. I went on one in every 3 performances total. I think for Beanie, it was probably like 30 times or something, or 40.
Okay.
And then I probably did, I don't know the total math, but I don't know, I probably did about 50 or 60.
And we know there was a rather contentious, bit involved with the producers wanting to get Beanie out, I think, because of some of the possibility of some of the reviews and trying to recoup the money, et cetera, for the capital investment for their investors, their producers. And again, it had to have been testy for you stepping into that role as much as it had to been challenging to, from the standpoint of, oh my goodness, I'm going on for my big Broadway role now, but there's that big but afterwards. Leah's going to be coming in. It's not going to be mine, for the remainder of the run, but, hopefully good things will come out of it. There had to be, mixed feelings, I guess, the Beanie's leaving and coming in, and I'm going to be there to take over, huh?
I think I just wanted to do my job and do it well. And I was really excited to have the opportunity. And I think, I'm very practical. I am fully aware that I don't have the household name recognition that Leah had. And she was able to keep the show running for a full year. So it would have taken a huge risk of a press push to put the show behind me. And I don't think that.
And to her credit and to the producer's credit too, they recouped their investment, and you were employed all that much longer too. So,
and everyone was, everyone was. It wasn't just about me. I think ultimately, like, I did get to take over the role. Like, I did have my name over the title, and I got to play Fanny Brice full time on Broadway for a while, and I got to play it. I really got my fill of the role, and being the alternate really in many ways felt like the best of both worlds, because I went on, I had my one a week that was planned, but I went on so much, and it's such a physically and vocally demanding role. I was always tired vocally. I was always in a lot of pain. It was a huge stress. And so really you shouldn't play that part 8 shows a week. So I think of all of the Fannies, like, I'm the one who did 8 a week, and including on the road. And like, I really don't think long term it's a part one should play 8 shows a week. It's the most demanding role, I think, on Broadway. I mean, even, Elphaba has Glinda. Nikki Arnstein doesn't sing that much, there's, you don't have any time off stage. Even when you're off stage, you're just changing your clothes to run back on stage. And so I really liked being the alternate was kind of great, because I was able to play the role regularly, and all my friends, all my fans could come see me, but I wasn't physically, being like constantly combating that fatigue and that exhaustion. And I got to keep my job for a nice long time. It worked out quite well,
And this is the anniversary. April the 29th was the anniversary, 3 years that you actually, I think, stepped in.
Yeah, my Fanniversary.
That's right. Your fans remember. So again, I promise I'll only keep you short while we want to get back to all the other, kind of share this with them. But again, would you ever think about ever doing the role again? Maybe on a one-time or an encores type of thing, or something like that? Maybe. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I don't know that they're planning on doing that, but I mean, you never say never.
Right.
Never say never.
Well, you got it.
I will say, like, it was so it was such a perfect way to end. My last show as Fanny was truly the most magical night of my whole career, and so full and so joyous. Everybody, there were like, the audience was just full of people who were excited to have supported my journey the whole time, and so it was really an incredible celebration, and so it would take something very special to come back, but at the same time, that could be out there for sure.
Well, you want to probably share with your newborn, your little, how old is your girl now?
She's 5 months today.
Okay. So 5 months. So again, when she gets old enough to see mommy, maybe mommy will do it again. You never know.
Yeah.
So,
you never know.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I thank you again. And I appreciate so much for you taking time out. And again, I hope that all the ladies got to enjoy that. And I know you have a thing for New Orleans.
I do.
Right now. I appreciate all that you do. And again, anytime you want to come to New Orleans, trust me, I know the city backwards and forwards. I can show you everything that you ever want to know that you didn't see before in your previous trips. All right, Julie.
I'll take you up on that. Thanks.
You got it. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
Where's Melissa?
Oh, I believe you're muted, Alan.
Just press unmute.
Press the microphone button, and that should help.
Is that working now?
There we go.
I was just such a delight. I love being with her. Unfortunately, she couldn't stay too much longer, but she did remind me that we had started the show a little bit late tonight because we had some couple little technical glitches there. But we always have, because this show started during the pandemic, we always have the invitation for everybody to bring in something as a drink into the room. It doesn't have to be alcoholic, although, as I always say, it couldn't hurt. So if anybody wants to show up, I'm going to tell you that I'm at Boy Scout camp. I'm not supposed to have any alcohol, but I did bring a little flask of something. So shh, don't tell anybody. Nobody, it's a secret. So
Julie and I are twins with the spindrift.
She's got the spindrift.
Tovah, did you bring something as well?
I just drink ice water or water to keep my cords lubricated. That and pilocarpine when necessary, Hannah.
I drink a lot of Pedialyte. I will say that.
Wow.
So again, this is a fantastic gathering for all of us. I think.
Water.
Julie. Yes, everybody, I think, will agree that
Water.
that water is the main thing that most of the actors I've ever talked to who are in rehearsals or thinking of being in a rehearsal ever bring in. But I always say, if you want to bring in something, you can bring water in a fancy glass. You can bring coffee, tea, whatever you want, just as long as we're connected liquidly. That's what I wanted to do. During the pandemic, it was important to connect liquidly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I want to throw out some more of those pictures. Tovah, I looked for the other picture, but it didn't, for whatever reason, show up in that email.
You want to check one more time?
I'm going to check one more time. I'd show you if you want. I'm not trying to.
It's me kicking with Jared. I'm with Jared.
So I'm looking. Okay, I see you on. You got your hands up like that, but I don't see anything else besides.
Go to another one. I sent
Okay,
it.
let me see if I can go back.
Editor at ccjn.net.
Yes, ma'am. Let me try one more time. Let's see if I can find an Outlook and see if I can open it. In the meantime, I would like to get Hannah. You're the other Fanny in the room tonight.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to see Julie, and did you get a chance to work with her in any way?
Yeah, I saw Beanie, Leah, and Julie, which was lovely. I mean, I think they're all so talented and so different in the role, which is so amazing. Like, the role is, so incredibly mammoth that no two people can ever be the same in it. I don't believe it's got too much nuance. There's too much to do. No two people are gonna, interpret the role exactly the same. And regardless of talent, everyone's different, But Julie and I actually did Les Mis together on the road and on Broadway, and we were the Cosette Eponine covers. So I was the Eponine cover, and she was the Cosette cover. Something very, very different. She has a beautiful soprano voice.
Wow.
But and Tovah, I saw you as well, and I saw Jane, and I saw one of the understudies as well. You were incredible, just a spitfire. It was it was so fun to see all these different people sort of weave through the story in their own fashion. And, you know, my Fanny was so different than everyone else's, and yet probably very similar to a lot of people as well. It's just such a beautiful score and a beautiful script and an incredible story. And what a privilege to play the part every night. I mean, it's rare in the theater that you get to play a part that is so incredibly nuanced and goes from, you know, a young woman to an adult with a child of her own, someone who falls in love with the theater and then falls in love, you know, romantically, and then, you know, loses that thread that holds them together. It's just an incredible experience to play that role every night.
Well, and again, I'm sure that it'll forever resonate within your memory for having done that. And you did it for the entire 17 months, or
no? Katarina McCrimmon did it first, and then I took over for her. The only two people actually in our principal cast that left were our Mrs. Straykosh and our Fanny. So it was just Cheryl and I that replaced. I was the alternate before that, and
I got you.
Yeah, but you know, Melissa was there the whole time, and Stephen Mark Lucas was there the whole time. It's crazy. Stephen and I became very, very, very close over the course of the tour, and it was just so much fun to fall in love with your best friend every night. I mean, what a joy, truly.
And I do remember seeing some of your Facebook posts, you know, that you all were doing as the run was starting to get down towards the very end, where, you know, you started to see Melissa and Cheryl and you all start to talk about, you know, what it's going to mean to not do the roles that you were doing and to have to leave the road, because the road is not always the most comfortable place to be. You know, you're in a different hotel sometimes every other night. But still, the camaraderie, the family that you all had on the road seemed to be pretty impressive.
We had a great group of people. Everyone was so grateful to be there and loved telling the story. And just having a group of artists that really care about the integrity of the piece can make a huge difference in your day-to-day life on the road, I think. And I have to say, Melissa was really the pillar of that, I think, from the beginning. She cared so much about, you know, the history of Rosie and the saloon and her and Fanny and the family. And it really, I think, inspired a lot of the people in the show to.
I don't know if you can hear me.
You can.
You can.
Yeah. You're much better now.
Oh, and then we lost you.
Nope. Is she back? Melissa?
Go ahead, Melissa. We hear you.
It's
We can hear
freezing.
you.
Freezing, Melissa.
Yeah.
darling.
I think it's her internet's a little bit, and she says we're freezing, but I think it's actually the internet on her end. You know what?
I was.
Yeah, go ahead. Just talk. We'll
Just
hear
that
you.
I'm so sorry. My internet connection, I guess, that with a theater tour, you're in each place for at least a week, which is very luxurious
Right.
compared to a concert tour where you're in each place for. I mean, it was always just.
So I know you're sort of getting in and getting out. So I think basically you're saying it's different than a concert tour. That there are many aspects of being on the road that are different, right?
Oh yeah, to be in each place at least a week is incredible. I mean, on a concert tour, you're in each place a night.
Yeah.
You never see anything. You never
Right.
go anywhere. You can't unpack. To be in each place, you know, for almost 2 years, at least a week, it was just luxurious. People thought I was nuts, but I was having a fine time.
The first time I heard her when she told me this, when I joined the company, and I was like, Melissa, what is this like for you? Because for me, I had not done 1 week tours before. I did the old days of tours where you sat for months and you got an apartment and you lived your life in Boston for 6 months. So to me, this was very new. And this one, star that she is telling me how luxurious the tour was. And I was just so moved by her because, you know, she has no ego. This is not a diva. You know, she was grateful for every day and every performance. And it's really
It's so true, though.
Tovah, for you have a place up in New York, correct?
I'd play Rose Brice on a corner with a cup in my hand.
Yeah, me and Melissa talked about this. We're going to do it in our backyard from now on.
But I was asking Tovah, did you actually just live in your home and go to the theater?
I rode my bike to the theater every day.
That must have been fantastic.
It wasn't so easy in the winter. I had my snowsuit on, what I ski in, but I rode my bike. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. But I feel that doing a musical is a way to be paid to lose weight. I was so fit. I weighed what I weighed in 7th grade. I mean, I was like I was just all muscle.
It's so true, though. You're running a marathon every night.
Yes, you are. Absolutely. I think all Broadway performers are athletes in every imaginable way you can make a description. Yeah. Absolutely.
And Jared tried to convince me to get an electric bike, and I said no because I won't stay fit. And then they were banned. Then if you had anything, you couldn't park it in the theater. You couldn't park it. So Jared used to go home on a unicycle, like in the circus.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy. We would ride together. It was something. Yeah. I worshipped him.
So I want to throw up just some more of the pictures that Cheryl provided. Just we can see. Maybe you can tell me what some of these are.
Beautiful. That is.
I'll tell you the story. The reason I sent you this is the night we were in Columbus for some reason 3 times. During our 1-week stay in Columbus, we had fire drills. The smoke alarm was somehow picking up our fog that you use in the show and setting off the alarm. So this was the night. This was a Sunday night. Melissa had experienced this twice already. This was the 3rd time it happened, and the whole audience has to evacuate the theater, and the whole cast has to evacuate the theater.
This night was the worst, though, because we only had like 20 minutes left, 25 minutes left of the show. We were all like,
crazy. And
then there was a tornado warning at the end too.
Sorry.
I said, and then there was the tornado warning at the end. We all had to go into the basement.
Then we get through this, and we have a tornado warning, and we're waiting. Crazy night. But what I loved about it was there was this crazy bonding with the audience and the cast, and they loved the fact that they got to come out and see us in person in our costumes and our microphones. So it was fun.
And some more that you'd provided. I'm not quite sure if there's a story behind these.
This is the lovely Mrs. Meeker, played by Christine Bounois, who had her baby during the run of this show and brought her baby on tour with her husband for the second half of the year. So the baby grew up on tour, which was beautiful. And that's the beautiful Leah Platt, who stood by for Hannah, who played Emma and also did Thursdays for Hannah. Wonderful.
Relation to any other Platts that we might know of?
I don't know. Not like Ben Platt.
No.
And
lovely. And I think we got one more. That's the same.
Oh my gosh, straight lighting.
Straight shot there. There. Melissa and I had a fabulous lunch where we went to, what was it? Antoine's, I think.
Antoine's. It's the oldest restaurant in New Orleans.
Poster on the wall.
Yes, I know. Wow. I know. And Antoine's is famous. It's my favorite restaurant. But aside from that, almost every birthday I've ever had in my life was celebrated at Antoine's. The waiters, I have my own personal waiters who get me into private rooms, etc. If you ever come to New Orleans, I'll take you to Antoine's. I promise, all of you. Tovah, you too. So basically, we're getting down to the shank of the evening. I know we started a little bit late, but I did want to try to cover as much ground as I could. This was a wonderful evening for me. My feeling is that this is
at Antoine.
Yes. But this is a show that I really wanted to pay homage to because you all have contributed to, I think, part of the pantheon of American theater in many ways. Whether it was taking the new road show out, the 3rd company on the road, as you did Hannah, Cheryl, and of course Melissa, or contributing to the first revival of a show that hadn't been seen since the 60s and really catapulted Barbra Streisand into fame. As we're getting ready to finish up, I did want to ask you all what you're going to be doing. I know, Tovah, you were getting ready to get back into the season for Nobody Wants This, right?
We just finished filming that, and I've been offered another series that I'll begin filming in Miami on May 20th, which is a drama.
Mazel.
And congratulations. If anybody gets a chance to and has missed Nobody Wants This from the
No,
first
it's
season,
incredible. It's
you know, it's
magnificent.
very special. And again, if anybody wants to know who's playing the part of the Jewish mother, you don't have to guess too much about that. Hannah, what are you up to now? That you know, you besides nursing your foot, what are you going to be hoping to do?
I mean, we just got home, so I'm gonna take a moment because it was being on the road for 2 years is a lot, and playing that part, as Julie said, man, it's taxing. So I'm taking a breather. I'm taking the summer I'm teaching a little bit, which will be really fun, but we'll see. I have some thoughts about what I'd like to be next, but you know, just sort of taking where the wind takes me.
Okay, Melissa, hope that your audio will stay with us in your video. So tell me, this is the first time you've had a chance, maybe a couple of weeks now, to relax. Are you doing anything? You planning on doing any more road shows or doing anything with the Sweet Potato Queens or anything like that?
Oh shoot, I think we lost her again.
There we go. Come on, say it again.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I've been resting, but now I'm putting together a new show.
With who? Who's the new show with?
Doing Studio 54.
And then in July,
Okay.
there will be a debut of a concerto that I wrote for piano and symphony. What my show, and it'll be done at
54 Below.
54 Below, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's fantastic. All right. Again, I'm sorry for the intermittent internet we've had, but you know, it's all
54 Below in New York. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And again, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheryl, what about you? What you going to be up to?
I'm busy as always. I am doing a workshop in August.
Yeah,
of a
so
new
I'm
show
catching
that I wrote.
up on a lot of concerts that had to be rescheduled because it's a funny girl.
Okay. So we heard Melissa. Thank you very much for that. I'm not quite sure which of that, but Cheryl, you said you were going to be doing what?
Yes, I've co-written a musical
The
with
best-
Bettina Kovo about
reason.
This I know about. You
Yes.
mentioned it, and it's about a famous Hollywood
yes,
person,
about
right?
Rita Hayworth,
Yes.
who led a very troubled life behind the screen.
Right.
And it sort of deals with her in her last years, which she had Alzheimer's and no one knew. They just thought she was drunk, and
Right.
looking back on her life through that lens. So it's very exciting. There's a lot of dance. There's a lot of flamenco because she was a Spanish flamenco dancer with her father. So we're workshopping that at the New York Theater Barn in August. So I'm in meetings.
And it's simply called Rita, right? Rita with an exclamation mark?
Yeah.
Rita with an exclamation mark.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a big exclamation mark to Tovah, to Hannah, to Melissa, and to Cheryl. Thank you all for making this a wonderful night for me. You made Boy Scout camp better than it could have ever been in my own dreams. Thank you all. And again, please know that there are many of us out here who appreciate all the work you do. And then, you know, you're not unappreciated. And again, I'm one of many people who love theater, and hopefully we'll continue to fight for it. And as I say, we're going to hopefully get some more money for the arts so we can see more theater and have more people enjoy the company and your companies as well. Okay. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks for having us.
I'm
Thank
going
you,
to
Alan.
just stick around a little bit. I'm going to say goodnight to you individually, but I'm going to ask everybody to stick while I remind everybody that my name is Alan Smason. And again, those of you who are tuned in tonight watching the NOLA Theatre Folk Facebook group is here. And I'm just going to try to see if I can slowly but surely. My problem is there we go. Trying to get some remove, and who do we have still in there? Me. Okay, I'm in twice. I did want to let everybody know that I appreciate you being with me tonight, and we will check you as always. I'll see you at the theater. Okay. Again,
Sorry. Can't see. There we go.